look at this RENPHO Shiatsu foot massager. I have been looking for a very simple foot massager that doesn't take up a whole lot of space and isn't super heavy. This one meets those needs. You can see it's very lightweight, easy to move around. Probably weighs about maybe 10 pounds, and it can fit really easily like inside of a cabinet. You can put it under your desk. It's not gonna take up too much space. So I wanted to show you some of the features and the things that I liked and just kind of how it works overall. So first, I wanted to kind of give you one of the hidden things that doesn't really get talked about a lot, but is like one of my favorite features, and I'll show you that at the end, so make sure you stick around. So first, it's a pretty simple foot massager whenever it comes to how complex they can be. I have one of those really big massage chairs, and to be honest, it's too intense on the feet, which is why I've been looking for something else. And so with this, it just has 3 different settings for the way that it massages and feels. It also has a timer. So let's take a look at what these different features are. So the first one is when you turn it on, you're gonna make your selections. So the first is you're gonna choose, do you want it to be on for 15 minutes or for 30 minutes? And then the next thing is your kneading intensity. Now the kneading is when you have your foot in, and on the very bottom, it has these little rollers that are gonna be going in their different sizes. And it's like if you took your knuckles and you were just doing this on the bottom of your feet. How intense do you want that to be happening? So that's gonna be your next one. You have a low, medium, and high. And then the third one is gonna be your air intensity. So the air is coming from the top part. So if this was my foot, it has these like air bags that are squeezing, which feels really good. Like if you like a massage where somebody's just like grabbing the top of your foot and they're just like squeezing, that's what your air intensity is gonna be. And I like to put that all the way up. I like that on high. And what that's gonna do also is it's gonna keep your foot in place so that you're not like too high, that the kneading isn't gonna be giving you a good pressure. And so it kind of keeps your foot down where it should be for that kneading intensity as well. So those two, the kneading intensity and the air intensity, are your 2 main that have to do with the way that the massage actually feels. The next one is heat. So if you want your foot to kind of warm up as it's being massaged, that's one gonna be turned on as well. That is turned on automatically when you turn the machine on, and you can turn it off just by simply pushing the button. These buttons are super easy to use. It's not complex at all to use this foot massager. And it's pretty quiet overall too, which I like, because sometimes I like to use it at my desk. And so if I'm like on the phone or doing a video or something, you don't even really hear it. So let's go ahead and turn it on and kind of give you that look. And then we're gonna take a look at that hidden feature I was telling you about. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it on, and you can see that it automatically is gonna be set to be going for 15 minutes, and then on low intensity on both of these with the heat turned on. So the kneading, like I said, is the one on the very bottom, so we can go low, medium, or high. And then we have the air intensity, which is gonna fill up this area here. And so it's very, very quiet. Overall, I think it's great. So let's turn it off, and I'm gonna show you the thing that I think is super cool, especially if you're in a house that has multiple people who would wanna be using this, because the idea of having somebody else put their feet in the same thing that my foot's gonna be in, especially if like you don't wanna have socks on, which I usually do, but if you don't wanna have socks on and then somebody else comes in and doesn't have socks on, it's kind of weird. But this here has removable foot covers, so you can just unzip this whole section here, take it out and wash it, and then put it back in, and it's always nice and clean. And this is great even if it's not a household that multiple people are gonna be using it. If it's just yourself and you're putting your feet in here after a hard day's work, so you're gonna wanna be washing this thing. So I highly recommend something that has this removable foot area. So overall, like I said, it's a very simple foot massager, but it's very effective, and I highly recommend that you take a look at this.